Hey, what's up, family? Hey, I got a good financial video for you today. So therefore, I'm gonna title this one, Drowning in Debt. Now, we're all familiar with that, and sometimes, unfortunately, a lot of us has been through that, where we bit off more than we can chew with our debt, and it's nothing like being in debt and the creditor chases you constantly on the phone, at your job, in the mail, whatever case. It's a nuisance. But before I get into this story of drowning in debt, I first want to give you a little education on the very credit cards that you use first. Let's talk about how they first evolved. We're going to just spend a little education on this. Now, you could Google all this. I just thought I'd give it to you from my perspective. Credit cards first was originated first in the early 1900s, like 1920 to 1950, somewhere around that time. And it was mostly for big oil companies and diners cards. That's how it evolved. Matter of fact, they say one of the inventors of the credit card was a guy named Frank
McNamara.
There you go, Frank McNamara.
Yes.
And the way the story goes was this guy simply went out to dinner with some friends or co-workers or whatever the case. And it was one of those ordeals that we all are familiar with. When he went out to dinner with them, once the bill came, he did what we've seen so many times with family and friends. Once the bill came, he go, "Oh man, I don't have any money on me. I left my wallet home. How could I pay for this?" Instead of asking others to pay for it, he pulled out a cardboard piece of paper, and wrote on it, and was like, "I'll pay this later. You have my word about it, and I'll get this paid." But that's how it pretty much evolved. Now, the reason I gave that story is because we all familiar with family and friends like that. How many times you went out with family and friends, and every time the bill came, they started touching their pockets? Like, "Oh man, I forgot my..." Man, you didn't forget your wallet. You knew you didn't have it when you first came out. But that's how it evolved, where this guy said, "You know what? I'm gonna create a system where you can pay for and obtain for goods now and pay for them later." See what I'm saying? So just asking the viewing audience out there, just think about it. Matter of fact, my wife is filming this. Even if I ask you, babe, if I ask you, what would be a early signs of credit for you, thinking about credit? What would be an early way that you can define credit when you was growing up?
Oh,
What
wow.
were some of the first signs of credit that you noticed?
I think the one that came close, let's say layaway.
That's a good one.
Layaway,
That's
because
an excellent one, actually.
it's almost like you're
Yeah, 'cause
buying
I
and stuff,
remember that.
but you gotta make payments.
I remember that as a
Right?
kid. I remember my sister said, "Oh, we got a living room set, and I got the kids' clothes on layaway." And I was like, "Layaway?" I said, "What that mean?" Because she was so happy about her layaway plan. I said, "Oh, that's cool." As a little kid, I'm thinking to myself, I remember my aunts said the same story. We got all the clothes on layaway. So I said, as a kid, I said, "Oh, so that's cool. So you get all the stuff now, you just pay them later?" And they like, "No, it don't work that way. You just got to pay a little at a time, and they keep your stuff until you pay it off." So even as a kid, I said, that sounds whack. I don't think I ever want to do a layaway plan. You don't get it now? You mean to tell me I got to keep paying them money and they got my stuff, furniture, clothes? What if they break it? What if a bunch of dust get on it? Whatever the case. What if some people get locked up? What if you go through some type of financial burden? All that money you pay, you don't get that back.
Exactly.
So even as a kid, I realized, for me, that's not a good one. Now, check this out. I want y'all to stay with me. So she said layaway. I'm going to give one, not that I'm trying to be better than you, but I'm like the lemur from Madagascar. I'm better than you. But anyway, I'm going to give one that trumps that one. That was an excellent one, she said, the layaway plan. Now, this is one of the first signs of credit before actual credit cards came out. Remember way back in the days, the saloon days, and maybe even further than that. Remember, now where I first learned it from was when I was a kid, doing what I did best, watch cartoons all the time. I remember one of the Bugs Bunny episodes, IOUs. I was like, what? And so that's what I mean by the early signs in the saloons and way back beyond it, where people, if you was a person of integrity, a person of responsibility, a person that people respected, you was an honorable or righteous person, then your name and your presence meant something. So if you wanted goods, you easily, back in those days, you did just that. You pulled out a piece of paper, you wrote those exact words, IOU. And then you signed it. I know that sounds crazy, but think about it. Those were the early signs of actual credit cards, because it was a person of integrity who wrote that IOU for those goods, and then he gave them the paper and signed his name. So now that establishment of whatever degree said, oh, I got this paper with Spink's name on it. He owes me. He gave me, I got a bunch of IOUs. Like I said, when I was a kid, I seen Bugs Bunny do that. He had a whole bag full of IOUs that he had to get. And I was like, what? IOUs? What the heck is that? So he owes somebody, and they know he owed them. Those were the actual first signs of an actual credit card about to get in the early stages of credit cards was IOU cards. Think about it, folks. So now, let's get back to the main topic of the story. Let me stick with the IOU for a minute. Now remember, this touches on one of my other videos called Payday Loans. At the very end of the video, where I said, if you are a person who are a liar, a backstabber, people can't trust, then your IOUs meant nothing. Your money meant nothing. Like I said, it's going to come to a time where the tangible money we keep in our pocket is going to be worthless. Your money going to be based on you as an individual. So if you're a liar, a cheater, a backstabber, your money's worth nothing. If you're a person of integrity, responsibility, respectability, you're worth a lot. So now, let's move on to, as I said, the credit, a little bit more with the credit card. You also got to understand when credit started really being established across the land, it only was for white men. I don't know if a lot of y'all knew that. It was not for women and minority people. Isn't that crazy? They didn't start getting credit cards with women and minorities until like the late 60s and early 70s. Isn't that crazy? But anyway, so now let's move ahead. Like I said, the title of the video, Drowning in Debt. So think about it. I know it feels great to go out and get that living room set, to go get that kitchen set on credit, on everything on credit. You went and got that car and you financing it. You went and got that cell phone and you finance everything, right? In this day and age, most people are living on credit. Do you have any idea there's places in the world, such as places in Africa and Japan and many others, where they don't do the credit? It's either you got the money for it or not. So if you see that person with that house that you think is nice in certain countries, it's because they bought cash with it. You know, it ain't no credit in certain places. Either you have the money or you don't. That's simple. But here in America, most people live off of credit. So be mindful before you be doing just what the title of this video is called, Drowning in Debt. Because like I said, when you go out and get that living room set on credit, that dining set on credit, kitchen set on credit, cell phone, clothes, and everything else you do, all the shopping you do, ain't nothing worse than getting all that on credit. And it feels good to have it in your place and in your possession. But guess what? You get paid next week and you ain't even get your check yet, and your check is pretty much already spent. Because when you get that check, you got off living room set to pay off, kitchen set to pay off, dining room set to pay off, cell phone to pay off, clothes to pay off, computer to pay off, TV to pay off, other bills to pay off. When you got this many bills to pay off, it becomes just what the title of this video is, Drowning in Debt. And ain't nothing worse than to get your check and realize your check is but this big, but you got this much bills to pay. Title of the video, Drowning in Debt. So now you become like that person where it's like, man, my head is, I'm barely above water. I'm really actually drowning in water. But in this case, you're drowning in debt because you got to know how to, what's the word of the day? We're going to use the word of the day. You got to know how to have some acumen. That will be the word of the day. I'm sorry I went so late with this. Now, if you look up the word acumen, it's spelled A-C-U-Men. A-C-U-M-E-N. Acumen means to be astute, cleverness. You know, you have the ability to make smart decisions. That's what acumen means. And that's what a lot of y'all have to do when you're making these financial decisions with your credit. Have a little acumen ability to make smart decisions before you get yourself in so much debt that now it becomes stressful. And when you stress, it can mess up all kind of other things mentally, physically, biologically, because you're just so stressed. And don't get yourself drowning in debt. think about this, folks. Look at this last statement I'm gonna leave you with. Don't try to look. Don't be a broke person. Don't go broke trying to look rich. That's what I meant to say. Don't go broke trying to look rich. You're trying to buy all this stuff to make people think, look at me, I got 3, 4, 5 cars, I got the bike, I got this, I got this, I got that, I got all this jewelry. Don't go broke trying to look rich, because you got to think about it. Most rich people ain't trying to show off about all the stuff they got. It's like either I got it or I don't. So remember, don't go broke trying to look rich. You fronting. And the other part of that statement I like to say is, most people have this really bad conception where they say, oh man, I'm gonna say, if you have a bad habit of saving money when you're broke, you don't have any good habits. I'm sorry, you don't have any good habits of saving money when you're broke. Most people have the real bad conception to think, you know what, I'll save money when I become rich or when I make more money. No, that's not the case. If you can't save money when you're broke or low, then you are sadly mistaken. And it's the crazy belief system that you think you're going to save more money when you make more money or when you become rich. No, it's not going to happen if you can't do it when you're low and broke. It's a crazy belief system. And you need to have more acumen with that. Remember, word of the day, acumen, the ability to make smart decisions. And with your life, make smart decisions when it comes to your credit, when it comes to your finances. You need to have a very acumen state of mind, the ability to make smart decisions financially, acumen. All right. So on that note, let me try to say this one more time to get it through your head so it can really stick. Sometimes you got to be redundant. Don't go broke trying to look rich. And the other part is the crazy belief system that most people that don't save money when they're broke, they have this crazy belief system that I'll save more money or I'll save money when I come rich and make more money. If you can't do it when you was low and broke, then you are tripping when you think you're going to do it when you become rich, if you become rich or make more money. Look at a lot of the celebrities. You find out later in life they broke, but these are celebrities that make millions of dollars. So why is they broke? Perfect example to leave you with. And on that note, subscribe, share, like, and comment. Peace.